Hello everyone, Crydax here, and welcome back to pYanodon's Season 3. In our last episode, we got natural gas, well, sort of set up. We got the drilling fluid for it set up, which is going to take a little while, so we'll leave that alone. And then that will be pumping over to our provider station. And I don't know for sure if we can just hook this up right now and it'll work when it starts, but I'm just gonna do that for now. And maybe we won't have to revisit the situation. And so that'll be natural gas. We've already got tar provided. Don't think we need to do anything else except craft these buildings, which we need to automate, of course. Let's see. Did we name it? Tar and nat gas, yeah. I think it's good to go. There's tar. And there's the other one. Okay. But that needs to be turned. And that one's not doing anything yet, but eventually it could. Maybe. Nah, I'll probably use a different train stop for those two. Okay. So, I think we're good to go here. Oh, we do have ash trashing set up. Did I remember that? I don't think I remembered that when I did this. Okay. Now, what's next? So, we need the natural gas. I guess we need to decide where we're gonna set them up, and then we're also gonna need red hot coke, which is annoying as all get out. And then we need to make the first few Arqadarinos. So let's go set up our cDNA stuff to get the first few going. I don't even know how many I'm gonna need, so I'm just gonna do a bunch, because that rarely is a bad idea. So Arqad codices. The only recipe I have is this one, which requires 1 codex, but the bDNA sample requires 5. So again, it's 6 per and 100 automation packs, and then we just need coke oven gas. Oh, that's so annoying. Perfect. I have a solution. Some of you may disapprove of this solution, but it will be the perfect solution. Some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Alright, loaders? Sure. Everything's looking pretty good. Except for iron, as always. And circuits? Yeah, we could use a few more. Okay, so anyway, the plan here, we need to grab some cDNA. How much cDNA? cDNA to bDNA. That's funny. Let's see. We want, I don't know, because the eggs we need in sets of 30. And I need the honeycombs. Excuse me. Whew. And that makes the maggots, and then the maggots, that's when we need honey, Vrauk food, and more Vrauks. Wow, we need a lot of Vrauks for this process. It's a good thing we started the tier 2 process. And then the Vrauk and the maggots create an Arqad nest, and then the Arqad nest grows up into 2 to 4 Arqads. So the first order of business is getting some Arqad honeycombs, which require the Arqads that I get from the cDNA to munch on some Ulrichs and make some honeycombs. But first I have to be able to make some wax. And we're gonna need hot air for sure. And then the wax is gonna come from used combs. Now the first used combs are gonna come from some filled combs. And the filled combs are gonna come from some tall oil, flora, and sap. Oh my goodness. And then the tall oil turns into filled combs. Okay. So tall oil is needed. And the first empty combs come from this. So this is what I need to accumulate. Ash, coal dust, sand, and tailings dust. Where are we getting tailings dust? I feel like we're getting it somewhere. It's a bummer we haven't been stockpiling it. Okay. Because now I need some. We can try to put some in a chest. This doesn't run all that often, does it? I guess it runs to make hot air for glass or something like that. Okay. We might get a few. We don't need that many. And then, okay, so we need the... I got really sidetracked there. Arqad, Codex. So, I mean, the minimum we're gonna need is 3 sets. Goodness. Okay, I need more lamps. Because we're gonna need 30 of the eggs. Okay, more tinned copper. Boom, 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 boom. Let's try a couple more. There we go. That should be enough for 6 Arqads. And hoping that's good enough. And then the 6 Arqads. No, I didn't want to do that. How many did I just... I think we're good. So now I need a few hundred automation science pack. I need 18 cDNA. And I need 30 biosamples. Okay. DNA is what, over here? No, up here. 18. Okay. Done. Pick up some automation science while I'm over here. Let's grab 800. I think we only need 600, but that's fine. Switch you over to the bees. 6 of those. And 6 generic Earth DNAs. Boom. And I'll get you started. Okay, so bDNA samples are a go. Switch, again I missed. If you click right next to the change recipe button, it does not go well. And we want to switch over to... Wait, what is this doing? When we have a recipe and I click here, it's opening Factoriopedia. That's annoying. I wish... is there any way for this to open recipe book instead? Because, like, I don't want Factoriopedia. Get that crap out of here. Anyway. Okay, and the rest of the codices will go in here. Did I put too many? Oh, whoops. I put the wrong... This is the one that needs 1 each. This one needs 6 each. Okay, so there's 1, and then... 5 more. I'm 1 short? How did I get 1 short? Not sure how that happened. Okay, but there's enough for 5 more recipes in there, and there's enough for 6 of these recipes. Perfect. That will get the 6 bDNA samples. There's the 18 of those. Then we need the 30 of these. And then my grand strategy. It's brilliant. Honestly though, I actually think this is kind of a good idea. Because I need a pretty small amount of coke oven gas one time, and we can just do this. Boom. And then that will go and attach up here. And there we go. There's coke oven gas. I probably should grab a tiny tank. Or no. Well, I like both, but yeah, let's do the 10. 10 KL. Okay, there we go. And it looks like inserter speed is going to be an issue. So let's get that bad boy honking. There we go. Gosh, 5.6 raw coal a second from a single mining drill. That's nuts. Okay, so there we go. So that makes 600 a minute, which is actually more than we need. So we're perfect. Arqads are gonna happen. We're getting our first scary wasp in this episode. Oh my goodness. I am scared. I hate wasps, like in real life. What does it talk about them? GMO bee wasp hybrid with complex relationship with very heavy hydrocarbons. Fair enough. All right. Cool. Coolio. Now we need to do what? We still don't have a Vrauk Mark II, which is a bummer. How close are we on that? Looks like we are halfway there to the expected value. What's funny though is we're no closer than when we started. And that feels so bad. Like, the truth of random chance is that the expected amount of times we need to do it to get a successful Vrauk Mark II from this very moment is still 100 more times. Like, independent samples have no memory of prior experiments, right? This is a binomial distribution. There's no memory of prior events, and so they're just it's succeed or fail, and if you do a failure, that's the same as if you hadn't even started. So we've just another way to think about it is that nothing's happened, and we've burned, you know, 50 times 50, 2,500 Vrout cocoons. Granted, a couple of them are useful to turn into regular Vrouts once in a while, but yeah, not really. And what does our Vrout production look like since we started this? So it was at a pretty stable 6-ish a minute, and now look, these are when we got 50 out of the recipe. That's funny. Now we're looking at a more stable-ish at like 3 a minute, maybe. I mean, it says 5.8 a minute, actually, if you average it out over the last hour, now that I look at this number. So that's weird though, because didn't we, maybe we got lucky? 5%, it's completed 50 products. You would expect it to have finished about twice. No, that's not horribly lucky. Because didn't we calculate the expected Vraux per egg was a lot less? Yeah, we should get 10 Vraux from 50 cocoons. And this one should only get us about 1 on average. Because it's 5% of 25 Vraux. Oh, it's because we added another egg maker. That's why. That's what's helping out here. I think that's the answer. Anyway, yeah, Vraux, we will definitely get more, and they'll go on trains at some point. They maybe should be going on trains before we do all this Arqad stuff, but I'm thinking we can handle it right here. I'm hopeful. I'm excited for oil sand. I don't know what it is. I know it might not even be that productive of stuff, but I just think oil sand's really cool. It feels like you're mining oil like it's an ore, and I think that's really fun. Of course, that's in the dead spot for our radar. Oh wait, is that the actual number? 808? Oh my gosh, it's giving me the number. That's amazing. That's so funny. Even though I can't see the building through the radar, we can see the number update. Okay, so it's about halfway there. Now, we got a lot of other things to set up, so let's get cracking on that. Where do we want to put Arqads? This is my slaughterhouse zone, so I'm not messing with that. I'm thinking Arqads could go up here, maybe. Or maybe somewhere that we already have a setup. Maybe they just go down here. I mean, this is the area for the food, though. This is kind of... I'm enjoying that this is all plants in this block. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've already got 5. We'll get more. Maybe we set them up in here. This feels like a pretty good spot for it. We've got a couple other things that we might expand a little bit, but most of it could be taken up by Arqads. Yeah, I like the idea of that. So we're gonna need a couple providers. Strong side provider extension. Or sorry, a couple requesters. I'll do 1, 2 requesters, and a provider. And do we need a trasher? Are there byproducts? Not really. There's the used combs, but I plan to manage those locally. So then we're going to need an F requester for the nat gas and the hot air. F requester. Right there. Request amount for R1. R1's going to be hot air. I won't do 30,000. I'll just do like 10,000 because the actual rate of hot air here is pretty small. We created the first Arqad. Woohoo! And we'll need an extra one of those. And we also said we wanted to close up some of the gaps. So why don't we get kind of a blueprint of like, yeah. Where we know we're connected. And then I need some in the middle here. Connected to things. Big power poles feel so short when you're comparing them in a pyanodon space. Okay, so now that's connected through. We went down there. I guess we could go up a couple more from here. I just don't want bots to ever have to fly a crazy distance. Okay. Did that. I guess we need something kind of in the middle here could be good, actually. Yeah, one there. Maybe one. That power pole connected. Okay, that should be helpful for these bots flying around here. Okay, so we can actually check that off the list. I'm not planning on closing these gaps quite yet, just because I don't think I want to yet, and it won't matter as much long term. Once the bots go a little faster and have a little bit more battery, it's not going to be a problem. So I don't really think that's a need that we have. Okay. So anyway, where are we doing Arqads? We said over here. Sounds good. So what's step one? I don't even know what step one is. All right, let's get a casting unit. I know I'm gonna need one of those. Casting unit. Requires a local radar. Don't ask questions. We're gonna need some cages, so I'll grab 200 of those. We're gonna need some barrels, so I'll grab 400 of those. Need some more logs. I might need another casting unit, who knows. Casting unit, we're gonna need a barreling plant, we're gonna need a high pressure furnace, or 3. Barreling. pressure furnace. Okay. That should at least get us started. I already have 6 of the apiary hydrocarbon plants. Can I make a couple more? I can, but now I'm out of steel. Okay. And then we'll go down to our... Face the correct way, thank you. Down to our zone. We'll start setting something up. What exactly are we setting up? I'm not totally certain. Alright, arrived we have. And, okay, here's the apiary hydrocarbon plant. And we're gonna give this plenty of space because we'll probably need more limestone someday. So I'll start this, like, over here. And I'll leave a little bit more space for more rail extensions, but not a ton. So I'll actually, like, go in front of them here if we need to. In fact, I probably will with the repro complexes, because they're just freaking massive. I just can never get over how big these things are. Oh my goodness. Alright, so we've got a couple things here. We definitely are going to want the Ralasia version. And red hot coke is going to need coal and steam. And it's made in a BOF, which also needs more coal. So we're just going to need a lot of coal. And we're going to get coke oven gas that's going to be wasted, which is really annoying. I'm just trying to think right now. Do we send the red hot coke, or do we... Oh no. Oh no, oh no. Or do we send back the coke oven gas? So here's a problem. Man, there's 2 problems. I mean, they're related. Part of one whole of a problem, which is the Cybersyn cannot read the temperature of coke oven gas. So if I'm putting coke oven gas on the train network, it has to be only one specific temperature. If I put cold coke oven gas on the network and hot coke oven gas on the network, they're gonna get mixed up, and that is bad news bears. However, we already know that coke oven gas is complicated to process and requires multiple steps of nonsense with bricks and such. And so I really would prefer to just send the hot gas over to here as a supplement, because that's all this thing is doing. The entire purpose of this thing is to just make... Uh-oh, wait a second. Did we do the math on this? Does this ever make... I mean, it's been running, so I think it's fine, but why am I... Like, does this burn more coke than... Yeah, I think it does. I think we did the math. To get the hot molten salt, we end up burning more, you know, coke than we produce from the red hot coke, I think. Anyway, all that to say, we could bring in the free 500 degree gas, and then that would work. But then we have the cold coke oven gas, which isn't doing anything. Well, I guess here it gets recycled. I'm not doing anything with the cold coke oven gas. Maybe we should look at coke oven gas recipes. Okay, it doesn't do much. You can turn it into soot. It's used for Arqads. Oh, I guess we need the outlet gas thing. It's just like if we ship 500 degree gas, we're only ever going to be utilizing the 500 degree gas. This is tricky. And the recipes that actually use coke oven gas don't need 500 degree gas. Like this one, and this one. I guess Yadel spores need it to be 100, but 100 is the coldest it gets, so it's always going to be over 100. I don't know if you can get less than 100 degree coke oven gas. I don't know how you would. Anyway, so that makes me feel like we should just ship cold coke oven gas. But then that means I would need to make hot air using bricks on site. Ugh, if I'm making red hot coke on site. The other option is to put red hot coke on trains, and then we have to do that whole spoilage system because of pain and suffering. I think I will make it on site. And then maybe set up a hot air facility. I mean, how much does this go through? The hot air, 150 for 1 per second. Wait. Oh, sorry, this is what's making the... What if you don't recycle it? If you don't recycle the cocoa, like, and by recycle, I mean reheat. If you don't regenerate the coke oven gas, you need 20 times as much, right? Because this is based on a 200 and this is only making 10. So 1/20th of 15 a second is less than 10 per second. It's like 7.5 a second or something. So if my Arqad situation is utilizing, and it's not going to be utilizing, by the way, this much. I don't know how many Arqads we're going to be making, but it's not going to be that many. Maybe 0.1. Maybe 1 a second? Let's just see what... Because this is helping us understand the price of one Arqad. It's an Arqad, Michael. What could it cost? $10? Anyway, so the coke oven gas... I'm kind of seeing if it can create its own hot air is what I'm actually curious about right now. So let's do times... Oh, that's fun. It's exactly 1 red hot coke per Arqad? That seems serendipitous. Is that right? I think that's right. That's really weird that they're exactly the same number. But they are. I don't know what to tell you. Wait, no, they're not. That says 1. That says 0.223. Oh, right. We consume Arqads to make the eggs. They help run the colony. Wow, look at what the percentage is of Arqads that are reconsumed. Oh my gosh, this recipe has a productivity, a net productivity of only 22%. This whole loop. That's nuts. And what's even crazier is that, I wonder how much lower it is if we use the other recipe. The other egg recipe, I should say. This one that doesn't use Malaysia? Yeah. Like, what if this is the one we used? It goes down to 0.167. Okay, well that tells you right there how important it is to add the Malaysia in. Even though it doesn't feel like that huge of a difference, it's a massive difference. Wait a second, that can't be right. Okay, hold on. Because it's going 1 to 2, and this goes 7 to 15, which is 1 to 2.14. That's such a tiny difference. That's only 7% more output. But it's because such a large amount of the 2 eggs that we made, we're getting well, it's just like how many Arqads does 10 eggs really make? That's the better question to ask. So 10 eggs makes a third of this, which makes 2 of this. So 10 eggs makes 2 nests, which makes only 6 Arqads. So when you think about it that way, you're using 5 Arqads to make 6 Arqads. So like a huge percentage, sorry, I'm really close to having the number. What's the number? So we're using, so 1 Arqad nets 2 eggs, which nets, well, what did we say? 10 eggs netted 6 Arqads. So 10 eggs netted 6 Arqads. No. Each egg nets 0.6 Arqads. So when an Arqad makes 2 eggs, it's only netting 1.2 Arqads. That's what I'm trying to, there we go, that's the number I was trying to get to. So 1 Arqad only makes 1.2 Arqads, right? So when you make slightly more eggs, the extra amount here goes up by a lot. Like we were only getting 0.2 on top of the 1 Arqad that you have to loop back. But now when you multiply that by 2.143, well, now we're getting 0.57 Arqads. Or sorry, no, that's still not right. Now we get 0.28 Arqads on top of the 1. So you can see that that's like a 40% boost, because if you subtract the 1, this is the number we're actually comparing. We're comparing 0.286 to 0.2. And that helps you understand that even though this difference feels tiny, I mean, if you're not understanding how the math works in these loops, you would think like, oh, that doesn't even really matter. Like productivity wise, you know, 5 to 10 and 7 to 15, that's basically the same thing. Which is true, but it's because you're reusing most of the eggs at a flat amount, then it's actually a massive productivity boost to get that tiny change. That's crazy. I love that. I love the math of that. That's really interesting to me. Anyway, moving on to what we're actually doing here. I don't remember what I was doing. Oh yeah, I was gonna do the math on divide by 0.997. I wanted to see the hot air to red hot Coke amount. Oh, perfect. Okay, so what this tells me is if we use the red hot Coke to make hot air, we have a small little hot air loop going on. We actually will still need to import more hot air because we found out in this other one we would only get about 7.5 hot air per red hot Coke. So that's good news, because then that means we can trash network or side product network the remaining coke oven gas. And we will put cold coke oven gas on the network then, is what I'm determining. And maybe that's a mistake, but it's what we're going with. So we need to import coal. Oh. Train is stuck. Understandably so. And yeah, so we need to import coal. Let's request regular coal. I don't know if I should be requesting 21 stacks, but there we go. We will. Coal for Arqad. No. We're not doing the arrow. Coal for Arqad. Request. And then that'll request coal. What else do we need? We need biomass. We need Ralasia. We need, get rid of all this sugar stuff. We need Ulrichs. Ulrich, Ralasia, Vrauk food, Vrauk. Why don't you have the smaller request threshold? You'll request Vrauk and Ulrich. We have 6. And you'll request the Ralasia. Bitumen seep has ruptured. Found 448 million raw. Oh no. It's raw gas, not natural gas. Bummer. I was under the impression that we would get natural gas, not raw gas. Bummer. Bummer, dude. We need gasoline to process it. Can we turn condensates back into gasoline somehow? We can actually turn it into refined natural gas pretty easily. And then the refined natural gas... we can loop it with more gasoline to keep getting back condensates. So basically, you can turn it all into naphtha with some more gasoline if you want. The BTX, we already found out, turns into these 4 things: ethylene, benzene, methane, xylenol. None of those turn into gasoline, I don't think. I mean, there might be some crazy loop with it, but I don't think you can turn methane into gasoline. And I don't think you can turn ethylene into gasoline. No, that just does weird stuff. Okay, so then the question would be naphtha. Can you turn naphtha into gasoline? You can do tall oil. Oh gosh. Which combined with light oil gets you aromatics, which aromatics does get you gasoline. We actually know that. There's the aromatics to get. Wait, do we know that? No. Sorry. Light oil gets you aromatics and gasoline. I think. Wait. Yeah, this one. So light oil is already getting us gasoline. Okay. So then I'm just trying to see if there's some way to get gasoline out of this process, and I'm not seeing it. Tailings maybe can somehow get you there. Because the coal water slurry gets you aromatics and benzene, but we already looked at that. There's no way to turn aromatics back into... Oh, sorry, these recipes. You can do diesel. Wow, diesel is used in reducing these metals. Interesting. Okay, so all of that put together means we're gonna need some gasoline to get natural gas. That's what all of that means. Is a bummer. Huh. Okay. Well, do we want to put the raw gas on trains? No, I don't think so. Because the only use that raw gas ever has is this. So we might as well just do that wherever we get the raw gas. And then, well, I guess, well, hold on. We might want to, yeah. I've convinced myself. We might want to put raw gas on trains just because iron ore, you know, you might want to put iron ore on trains because, you know, you mine it from different places. Though, we could just have this be our first raw gas processing area. And then... yeah, I mean, that's probably what I'll do. Oh, you're still stuck. Let me help you. Okay, so... gasoline on trains. Let's start with that. And we'll have to be done with the episode soon. But, yeah, what craziness. Okay. I just really thought that it was natural gas that came out of that. I think it used to be. Am I making that up? I mean, like a long time ago, like back when I did season 1 of Pi, I think bitumen seeps got you directly to natural gas. And I just didn't know we were gonna have to deal with raw gas. So I need a compressor, apparently, which requires niobium pipes. That's a new one. Have not needed niobium pipes before. Do I put the niobium in a chat? Where even is the niobium coming from? Oh, right, it's coming from the east, because it's on trains. Okay, I'll just grab a stack to have and to hold. Alright, and then a compressor to make that nonsense, and then gasoline. Okay, so gasoline. Perfect. I am so glad we put this train stop up here. Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a F provider extension. And we're gonna get that thrown in right there. Gasoline. We are gonna need to... Wait, aren't those long enough to just connect? Oh, it's one tile too far. Okay. So I can do that. Alright, and then we very much need these to be automated. Pipe, iron stick, lead. Okay, all we need is pipe, iron stick, lead. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we, you know what? Maybe not. It's really hard to get to the iron. Maybe. So what is this squiggling right here? Okay, here's what I'm thinking. So we got pipe, we got iron stick. Okay, and then we need lead. Yeah. And then we need a building that gets both to make this. But then we need a building that gets both and this and the lead to make this. So then we need the lead in a requester chest. Or is there just lead nearby? Could I just bring lead up on a belt? Yeah, it's just right here. Yeah, I don't think I want to use bots for that when it's right here. So we can bring lead up. And then those both have access to lead. Oh shoot, the wood. The wood. Let's get some wood on a belt here. Okay, all of that craziness should actually work. But what I want to do is this so that I actually have access to both styles. And they stack to 10. They both stack to 10. Okay. I'll get to 20 of those. Sweet. Okay, that feels good. Automated this nonsense, so I won't have to keep doing that. And then we'll have some of these as well as a backup, which are nice to have both types. Because these are a good 5x5 footprint. These are a good 3x3 footprint. And then I'll probably want to automate these, and those will be the main 3 that I use. And then I'll want to automate the big boys at some point, because those are useful for just bulk storage. Once in a while, I might want the 125s. Kind of a nice middle ground between 75 and 250. I'll probably never use the 180s. At that point, if you want 180, you want 250, right? Unless the footprint's a lot smaller. And yeah, I couldn't really ever see using this one because it's such a weird shape, unless I just need the particular shape. It's very rectangular. Anyway, I know I need to be done with this episode soon, but get that finished out. Perfect. Okay, so finally we just need to pump gasoline up, and then we'll call it an episode there. So I don't know exactly where it'll go, but maybe here will be the gasoline. And then I want that to be a one-way into the tank here. So this is gasoline, fluid provide. Shouldn't have to do anything else. That tank is now on the way. Now we just get this connected up. So gasoline, gasolina is here. Okay, perfect. And it does get pumped into the use it as fuel network, but only if this has at least 1,000 in it. Which is good because that means we're gonna prioritize the train network gasoline over using it as a fluid fuel, which is actually what I would prefer. Because we can get all sorts of other fluid fuels as we go. So now that should pretty much empty out the gasoline once we get this built. Yeah, so that's gonna hoover up all of the gasoline at a higher priority. And then we won't be pumping it into this network. And then this network should fill up pretty soon with acetylene. Uh-oh. My acetylene's kind of low. I wonder why that is. Please tell me I'm not voiding acetylene somewhere. This has gotten too complex to handle. Yeah, where's all my acetylene going? Titanium mining? At least at the moment, it seems like the only place it's going is titanium and lead mining. And it's not running at full speed because we're out of coke. And we're out of coke because why? Why are these not full? These should be mostly full. We don't have enough steam? Really? That doesn't sound right. Okay, I guess we mostly have enough steam. It's very close. But yeah, I mean, this should be pretty close to 2 full belts of coke. I guess we're stealing some of it to go over there. So that leaves us with less, because we're stealing half a belt. And that's getting completely used up for steel, right? We still haven't upgraded steel. That'll happen someday. Anyway, okay, what I'm gonna do is just a little bit of top-up action on Steam. And then do this. Okay. Nope. Sorry. Top up. Let me just do it this way. Okay, so there's a little bit of extra steam if we need it. Our power usage is getting up there. Ironically, mostly boilers and electrolyzers and furnaces. Okay, well, we're gonna have to call it an episode here, but as always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and in our next episode, we're gonna be potentially, well, we're getting ever closer to doing something with our Arqads. So, see you guys in the next one.